So I thought what I'm going to do is now show you some of my best work, and then I'll tell you what it was I was thinking when I did each of these interviews. So run the video. I call it video.
Bunny, though? What was the image of, what would you associate Bunny with?
Frisky, playful, sexy?
Humps a lot. Like,
Humps a lot.
Yeah. Were you
Already,
before the whole sexual revolution, or were you, I mean, I'm always, was it before
I'm the guy who invented it. There was no sex before me.
No, nobody was doing it.
Not good clean.
Not in that way.
No, no. I think that on every kind of level, you know, I am the kid that I was then.
Totally.
My views and values, and indeed my dreams, are
like it's like a little
boys.
bit of you froze. It froze. Was there a moment in the beginning when you were sort of sleeping around, you felt a little nasty, or you just you just took to it like a duck to water?
I followed the traditional role right up through my first marriage.
Right. Yeah.
I never slept with anybody but the lady I was going to marry, and meanwhile she had an affair.
No.
Oh yes.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
So she gave me a clue that maybe I was on the wrong road. But I already knew.
You think if your wife stayed faithful to you, you wouldn't have gone off the rail? No.
Hard to believe.
Hard to believe.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, I'm not even going to buy that one.
Well, I'm not even going to try and sell it.
No, because I wasn't going down there.
Well, because I do think that...
Your heart was broken, so you started an empire. It's never going to sell.
Yeah.
When you worked in the factory, in the canning factory of things, and I had some days like this too.
Yes.
Not exactly in the canning factory.
What did you...
Waitress at the Holiday Inn, Evanston, Illinois coffee shop. So don't...
Evanston, Illinois.
Coffee shop, the morning shift. So what was your job? You took the chunks?
I was a packer.
Meaning?
My sister was a trimmer, and I was a packer.
You are a name dropper.
I'm telling you.
Better than a trimmer.
Oh no, the trimmers were the tough girls.
Right.
The packers were the wusses.
Right.
See, now the trimmers would stand there with a knife.
Yeah.
And a hairnet and a thing, an apron.
The white thing.
The white thing. And then they would grab the thing and they were like, boom, 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 and they would poke all the eyes out of the pineapple. That was like all the tough girls got that job.
So they were good at slashing.
They were very fast. But then the fingers would sometimes have a finger coming down the conveyor belt. But the packers would, see the pineapple would come down in the can shape, and then you would pick it up like this.
On this finger.
On this finger. And then you would go like this. And you had like 3 different kinds of pineapple. You had number 1, number 2, and number 3, and then double A, gray.
Yeah.
Yes, so you had to like go whack, 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 and then turn it over right quick, and then go whack, 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 and then only the 3 slices in the middle would you actually put in a can.
Take me through it again.
No.
Why do you think, do I call you Madame Marcos?
But whatever you want.
Well, they used to call you Meldy when you were little.
Yes.
How old were you then? I'd like to picture you as little Meldy.
Well,
when you were a little girl?
Many people still call me Meldy today.
Yes, I won't call you Meldy.
I have not lost.
I
have not lost my.
I see a little bit of Meldy in there somewhere. Why does the country love you so much? Why are you mobbed when you go into the streets? What is it about you that they love so much?
Maybe I'm transparent. Maybe they know what's in my heart. Maybe they know that I love them. If Imelda can do it,
sure,
everybody
can do it. That's probably why the people love you. They think if this little girl can come up and pull this stunt, this great piece of work, then anybody can.
Yes, it's a matter of attitudes, values.
Now, just let's go back. When you were a little girl and you grew up on Leyte.
Yes.
Leyte, where you're now the Congresswoman.
Yes.
Well, that's fantastic. And now I'm a little confused. Did you start off wealthy or did you start off poor?
Our family was neither.
And you were, of course, going to be, and perhaps maybe should have been, a great singer. Well, you played bigger houses than Sinatra. Good evening. I'd now like to introduce my very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Madame Imelda Marcos.
If the sun should tumble from the sky, if the seas should suddenly run dry, if you love me, truly love me, let it happen, I don't care.
She sang 17 more songs. I swear to God. One of which was feelings. She stole $17 billion from her country, just to remind you. Let me just say, in these interviews, I'm kind of interrupting because I need to keep a pace up for television. I would probably give them more space if this was a real interaction. So what it has to do with leadership is, this is way down the line, when I learned you really have to suss out what that person wants and then adjust your dials. This doesn't mean you fake it. You know, you go on these courses, people say, yeah, I'm tough. I know what I'm doing. I'm a winner. You know, if you're not a winner, don't play that card. If you're not funny, who's the guy who introduced me? Don't play that card. I mean, what you're going to learn and what I'm going to go through a little bit, of course, we'll extend this when I start working with you. This is a muscle that you can develop. You know, we didn't come into the world knowing calculus or how to play tennis. This is actually a muscle, this thing called rapport, or reading each other under the radar. And you know what I'm talking about. You probably do it with your kids or when you picked up your wife or not your wife. You know, it's this thing, knowing what's going on under the words, so that finally you get that rhythm going. You know exactly when you've hit that. Otherwise, it's you playing your pre-recorded tape and their pre-recorded tape, or you're debating, or you're eventually, we were talking about going to lock swords. This isn't about winning. This is about really playing jazz together. And once you're playing jazz, you know, you're free-falling, the way I sort of am with you. You know, I don't know what I'm going to say next. I may forget everything. I may leave. I don't know where I'm going. Once you're open to that, then you can sell them anything. You know, even insurance. So what I sort of did here was and I'll take you through it, really decide what the other person wanted from me, which part of my personality. I wasn't very flirtatious with Hugh Hefner. He wanted somebody who was more of a guy, even though I was wearing a low-cut dress. He didn't want another little, you know, a babe. He wanted somebody who was really interested in his psychology, because he's a complicated man and he's a sophisticated man. So he really wanted to talk about why he became what he became. So I didn't get it shallow. With Pamela Anderson, it's another story. You have to talk about swimsuits. The next one, Bette Midler, actually what I did, it sort of instinctively, this is a little like when you learn to ski, you know, you take it apart, okay, then eventually it becomes second nature. I knew that if I turned my back on her, actually let me just say, with all of these interviews, I was told I had 10 minutes. So it's my job, well, with Hugh Hefner, I ended up living at the mansion for 3 days. Thank you. It's a long story. So what I did with Bette is, in the beginning, she was just on her junket mentality, so she was, you know, just wheeling out the answers she had done to 100 other journalists. But I sort of started to make her laugh. I knew that's what she needed. So I eventually said, why don't we go to Harvey Nichols? And she said, I don't do that. I don't know what happened, but, you know, it was just like playing with a child, you know, just daring her and daring her. And then I turned my back on her at one moment, and it sort of indicated I wasn't that interested, that I too was busy. And the more I turned my back or leaned back, the more she wanted to show off. So she started to take over. And I would just feed her the one-liner, whatever she needed. And eventually she just talked, she sang, she played the fish room at Harrods, you know, she just kept going. With Imelda, her mentality was that of an 8-year-old child. So I had to suss that out pretty quickly. So I called her Melody, and I treated her as a mother with a disabled child. I didn't treat her as a psychopath, which she is. You know, I knew that she was very delicate, she was totally in denial, and she was not a psychopath, a sociopath. She had no connection with what she had done. So by encouraging her and by flattering her as you would, you know, your kid when he's going down the slide, how did you do that? I don't know how to go down a slide. I kept wooing her like this, so eventually she showed me her new stash of shoes in the attic. So I made a sale. Don't forget later on, I don't want to sound too, you're going to see a failure, so this is going to balance out.